We're going to play the intro music. Yes, we are. It is Monday, August 5th. Everybody's everywhere. Jordan's going somewhere. Kyle's on a plane. I'm here out front of Mohawk Chevrolet so we can bring this to you first thing Monday morning. If you didn't know, Mohawk Chevrolet is in upstate New York. There goes the sound. What's up, Jordan? This is a fun one on a Monday.
Up? It is, man. Look at this. Anytime I get to come on here and talk with you, spend some minutes with you, like that's like the highlight of my day.
Stop. So, the Soto team is in full effect, doing what we do best, being out amongst the front lines of the dealerships, not just reporting the news. Like German suppliers are important, but what's more important to our audience today is what's going on right here in the stores on the front lines. So, I'm here at Mohawk Chevrolet. Kyle's about to join me. We're going to be doing some pickup shoots for our next More Than Cars episode. By the way, if you haven't seen it, docuseries. We've been going across the country, filming at dealerships. You can go to morethancars.tv, see everything we're at. But Jordan, you're about to ditch the office too, and you're about to hit the road as well. Where are you going today?
I'll be speeding over to Jaguar Land Rover of South Shore in Northern Indiana. As soon as we're done here, I'm packing up this camera and hitting the road. It's about a 2-hour drive for me.
Hanging out with somebody we just podcasted with, right?
Yeah. So today we got Jack Pearson, who is his episode's going live today. When I first talked to Jack, there was just something interesting and really engaging about him and the way he spoke. He is also a 40 under 40, so we did have a little bit of background on him before going through that connection. But just talking with him, listening to him, he's just so personable and really discovering how he develops and leads his team. They get into that in the Auto Collabs episode. I'm going to see that firsthand today. That's what I'm excited about.
Very cool. Very cool. That, by the way, is another podcast we have called Auto Collabs. Auto Collabs, COLLABS. Search it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. You can check out that episode today. Plus, we have a ton of other great interviews with dealers who are actually just out there crushing every day. Let's get into some news because the news never stops. Cox Auto's Power of Data study was conducted in late 2023 and early 2024 is taking a close look at how U.S. auto dealers are using data to run their dealerships, make decisions, and most importantly, boost customer value. Basically, no surprise here, nearly all data dealers are using customer lead data, right? 96%. If you're in the 4% that's not using that data, you certainly aren't listening to this show. They're using vehicle data, dealership data, over 80%. See the upside of using this, mentioning things like more accurate forecasting, better trend monitoring, higher revenue, increased efficiency, all the things. However, confidence levels vary. While 72% trust their in-house data, only 66% are trusting third-party data. So we're approaching the halfway mark almost. Most OEM and third-party data runs 30, 60, and 90 days behind, which isn't always helpful in day-to-day decision-making, especially if you're 90 days. That's like a quarter ago. How are you going to use that to make decisions on where you're going? Data privacy and compliance are still major concerns. 66% of dealers are concerned about ensuring data privacy. And get this, 44% have held off from implementing or adopting a new tool because of their concern about privacy, meaning they saw a tool, they thought it would work, but they said, we're not going to do it because we're not sure about the privacy side. So obviously dealers want to use this data to make their stores better. But some revealing insights, I think.
For sure there is. I mean, if you look at that, anyone who's using data correctly should have 100% confidence in that. I think the reason that confidence level is so low is because it's just a whole paralysis by analysis. There's just so much data. It's not mapped correctly. I saw that when I was in marketing at the dealer group. We just had so much data coming in. We really had to organize that and almost come up with our own mapping system. So we had our own system that kind of tracked that. And that was just for marketing spend.
That's
Nonetheless, having the right lead information everywhere, third-party lead systems, for example, they'll look at the customer life cycle. And that is like 30 or 60 days sometimes, especially when that customer's shopping. And I'm not surprised that there are so many dealers that are holding off on getting new tools because they're worried about the data that might be leaked or the connection to their existing data. Look what just happened last month. Yep. That's a big deal.
I actually got over the weekend or over last week, got 2 separate notices from Ticketmaster.
Oh no.
Saying that there have been 2 data breaches, right? And this is Ticketmaster. These things are becoming pretty normal that I almost ignore them. Yeah. Right? Like if you have strong passwords, different passwords for each platform, like what else are you going to do? you know?
Yeah,
And so I
exactly.
feel like that, but for dealers to be very leery about it, because a lot of eyes on what dealers are doing would affect an individual dealer. I think that's the big difference between like Ticketmaster and a dealer, right? A dealer could be an individual owner of an individual store now held liable for data privacy to a certain extent, and it could wipe them out in a way that Ticketmaster will absorb the blow, pay the fine, whatever it is, and, you know, keep selling Taylor Swift tickets. I don't know if there's a thing there. I think I don't want to open the wound, but she probably doesn't use Ticketmaster. Maybe she does. I don't know. Let's keep moving on. Um, in the industry for a recovery, the market's experiencing mixed recovery as high interest rates and pricing concerns are still tempering sales growth in the second half of 2024. So far, U.S. light vehicle sales estimated in July, estimated at 1.3 million, down 0.4% year over year, with some variations in estimates between Global Data and Cox Automotive. The seasonally adjusted annualized rate rose to 16.1 million units, up from June's 15.3 million. So down a little in July, but still overall trending. The projection is up. Monthly sales are showing mixed results. Mazda, Subaru, Hyundai, and Honda posted gains, while Toyota, Ford, Kia, and Volvo saw declines. Fleet sales are down 33% year over year, impacting overall sales. Inventory levels are up 49% up over July of last year, but the growth is expected to slow in the second year. Here's a quote from David Oakley, head of automotive forecasting for the Americas at Global Data. He said, quote, July's performance was disappointing, suggesting that the market could be losing a little momentum as we head into the second half of the year.
A lot of stuff to cover there, Paul. One of the things that kind of like exactly the biggest thing that kind of like pointed, was like the biggest point in there was the annualized rate of new car sales is finally at 16 million.
Yep.
Not that long ago, that was at 18 million. If you look at 2019, even projections for 2020, and that's why in 2020, 2021, when it dropped to 12 million, that was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And getting back up to the 16 million mark is huge. Obviously, the inventory levels are up. I am surprised that Stellantis, CDJR, didn't make the list when they were pointing out low performers on sold units, just because those are ones that have a huge days on lot for those new vehicles.
Tons.
Exactly.
We were driving by a Stellantis dealer in the Syracuse market, and my wife and I were commenting on the gigantic lot full of inventory there was, because it's one of those lots that's like when you get off a common exit that you usually get off of, it's right in front of you. You have to turn left or right. And during COVID, right, there's like 4 trucks on the front, and now it's like more than I've ever seen there ever before. Look, the reality is that been seeing some things about the Fed maybe blowing the chance with interest rates, and unemployment is up, but the interest rates are where they are. So there's still a lot of macroeconomics at play here. And I think the interest rates and the pricing are just still playing games with it, where it's going to be really hard to figure out where the normal is for a while still. But the good news is, like you said, the SAR projection is up 16.1 million, more than it was at the beginning of this year. So it looks like still projecting that there are a lot of consumers on the market, maybe in this or in the market, or maybe on the sidelines, that will be coming in toward the end of Q3 and in Q4. So we'll hope for that.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Speaking of spending, we don't have a segue, but we'll just play it in your head. Consumers are cautious. Oh, way to go, Nathan. Nathan's like to me out here right now. We're set up in a parking lot, and he's literally, I wish I could show you without my, here he comes. There he is. There he is.
Yeah, Nathan.
We had to back the vehicle up just so we get a little closer to the building's Wi-Fi. So he's over there producing the show. I'm shooting the show. You're shooting the show. We're all shooting the show. Consumers, however, are cautious about they're cautious about spending. It's continuing, benefiting dollar stores and off-price retailers. They're not just looking for low prices, though. They're demanding and looking for higher value and quality as well. They sound like getting a little sick of the cheap stuff. Many shoppers expect higher quality as prices rise, not just maintaining price points. For example, retailers like Abercrombie and Fitch focus on better buttons, softer fabrics, and design embellishments to add value to the stuff. Gen Z and millennials are relying on product reviews and influencers still to make their decisions. And here is a quote from Matt Pavich, Senior Director of Retail Innovation at Revionics. He says, quote, people are making really informed choices. They're not always going to the bottom, meaning to the bottom of the price pile. How do you feel? You looking for more value? What do you think?
I mean, this is the same thing that we've covered a few times now, Paul. It's not about the lowest price. I think of Dan Abel, for example, when he was talking about how your website is your front line, especially with really good merchandising.
That's
It's
right.
not necessarily like the lowest price on Amazon that gets the deal done. It's got to be merchandised well. It's got to have the value that's there. So you look at something like on Amazon, for example, I shop on there way too often. Probably every day there's a box coming to my doorstep, whether it's from me or my wife. We don't go to the lowest price thing. It's got to have decent number of reviews. It's got to have decent photos. It's got to have decent description, and it's got to be from a decent seller. Like I don't just go pick a random person.
Right.
So I guess for me, like having all that bundled together in one thing, it's about the value that exists there for automotive retail too.
And value. Let's remember, like perception of value is value. Right.
Yeah, right.
So when we talk about things like merchandising, I know there's a lot of great conversations, a lot of great companies helping dealers do it, a lot of great dealers doing it independently. Merchandising, the vehicle that you have and the vehicle that somebody down the road has may be the exact same thing, the exact same quality, the exact same trim, the exact same color, all of the things. However, if your merchandising is better, the perception of the value of that vehicle is going to just be higher because you invested in better pictures. And then obviously the experience has to keep up with it. That's where reviews come in. That's where the meet and greet comes in. I had what was it? I had this. I'm going to talk about the Apple experience tomorrow, maybe, but I had an experience at the Apple store that might be a little surprising. But
a teaser.
Oh yeah, I had somebody come up to me at church yesterday, and they asked me if I knew a certain dealer, and they said this. They said I had a terrible experience at this. It was a Ford dealer, and they said I called them and told them about a specific vehicle in the inventory. It was a Bronco. Said it was the one I was looking for. Is this. He said I wanted to come in and test drive it. He goes, I showed up to test drive it. The salesman came out, just gave me the keys nonchalantly. He said, here you go. You can drive it.
That's a good teaser, Paul. Well, hey, we lost your audio. I don't know if we're going to come back. I guess we're going to have to get to the story tomorrow. Oh, man. We got no audio from Paul. So I guess that's a good way. At this point, man, Paul, there we go. That's it. We're going to close it out. So go out today. Have an awesome day, everybody, in automotive retail. Paul, have an awesome day at Mohawk Chevrolet. And then I'll be out at Jaguar Land Rover with Jack Pearson. I'm looking forward to that. Everybody, have a great day.